Welcome back to Everything All the Time. I'm Pat O'Brien. I was just talking to R.J. Bell on the phone. He's in Vegas. He's going to join us now. This is segment 3.
You got to let it go. Let it go. Just let it go. Let it go. No,
R.J. Bell, who runs pregame.com, the best place to go to get, who's up. By the way, these odds on Golden State next year, R.J., they're off the charts.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Pat, I actually called around Vegas yesterday, and I talked to more than a few old-timers and said, do you ever remember a team before the season started being this big of a favorite? Now, obviously, we got the great teams in the 80s, the Lakers and Celtics, but most likely you're not going to have a huge favorite because they had to potentially compete against each other. Then you had Jordan's Bulls.
Right.
Then you had Shaq's Lakers, some of the best teams of the last decades. No one can remember there being such a big favorite as Golden State right now. Right now, you've got, and this has even gone up a little bit since yesterday, you've got to bet around $140 to win 100 if Golden State wins the title. So they are a minus money favorite. You've got to bet more than you're going to win against the other 29 teams. We don't ever remember that happening.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And R.J. Bell is our guest, pregame.com. There's been some noise about this website that I don't like. R.J. does a service where he aggregates what Vegas is
it's
saying.
basically giving you, it's helping you. It's not a bookie, it's not a betting site. It's basically giving you what some of the favorite odds are out there, like you just explained with Golden State. And you you butted heads a little bit with one of those outstanding websites like Deadspin.
Okay, so outstanding's in quotes.
Yeah, outstanding that's kind of like when outstanding is like it's like a Snapchat is what it is.
Just
they
so you know,
suck,
that website that just lost a $140 million lawsuit to Hulk Hogan for putting on. And look, they were after me for years, and I have a lot to say about them too. But what did you do about this? I saw a lot of people came to your defense.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, Pat. So Deadspin decided, listen, sports betting's getting big enough for us to take it down, which is obviously their style.
Take it down. I love that.
That's gonna happen.
They're big on taking things down.
Yeah, once they can make money on tearing something down, that's when they get involved. And they looked around and decided, and I guess I'll take this as a compliment, I was the guy that was the most important, at least in their mind, in the industry to take down. They spent 1 year literally researching stuff. We had no idea what was going on. We found out after the fact. And quite frankly, they couldn't find anything of consequence. So quite frankly, their response was they started lying about us. And maybe they thought, hey, it's a Vegas guy. He's going to be afraid to fight back because he doesn't want too much light shined on him. What they don't understand is, from day one, Pat, I decided, listen, if I'm going to spend my life building a business, I'm going to make sure that the foundation is solid, the foundation is legitimate. We have no fear of discovery. We have no fear of lawsuits. We want the right answer. So what we ended up doing, we want the fair answer, is we went to Hulk Hogan's attorney. We had a mutual friend. His name is Charles Harder. And Mr. Harder looked at our case, and he said, RJ, you've got a very strong case here. They were libelous. They defamed you. And we have now sent them a legal demand letter that's up on Twitter at RJ in Vegas. And it is literally over 9 pages. We spell out everything they did wrong. So it feels pretty good. The guy that bankrupted their parent company looked at our case and said, once again, the Gawker company, Deadspin in this case, did wrong. And we're fighting back very aggressively because lying about what we do is not okay. And, hey, reasonable people can disagree about some things, but our legitimacy is something that is not okay to disagree with because it's not true. And we are legitimate, and it's something that we're going to fight aggressively.
Right, period. And you're the most transparent site on the web, pregame.com. Pat O'Brien, Court McCowan, R.J. Bell, everything all the time. Yeah, they picked on me for a long time, and it just got to be humorous. But I don't think they have any juice left, do they?
Well, yeah, I mean, in a way, it's like a car wreck, right? Is people know that it's disastrous. They know it's not going to work out in the end. but you kind of can't stop but look. So I think you do have the types that are kind of following what Deadspin does just to see how, low they can sink
Right.
before the bankruptcy. I guess, it's kind of like the last days of Rome, maybe, is they figure, oh, we're bankrupt anyway, what's it matter, right? But I'll tell you this. And listen, Pat, your fame, is 100x mine, and obviously you've had an amazing career. But I know enough with a little notoriety to know if they're going to spin it against you, you got to deal with that. That's the big boys' table. You're going to get things spun unfairly. But blatant lies is a different level. And some of the articles spun stuff unfairly, but at numerous times they said something was A when it was B, and that's where the legal part comes.
Yeah, I followed that. They're not great on facts.
No, it's like it's very similar to
We
Fox.
may have to use your lawyer now after this program.
Yeah, it's very similar to Fox News. I mean, I don't know, RJ. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in Vegas too now, because there's a lot of light being shined on betting and what's going on, especially with the NHL team coming there, and that's going to be a big deal. And I really liked what you actually talked about on your website was about how having a team in a city where there's legal betting versus a team in a city where there's illegal betting, it still goes on in both places. It's just more regulated in a city where it's legal.
That's exactly right. And if somehow, some way, making sports betting illegal in a given jurisdiction could stop it, then the valid case would be, hey, less legal betting means less betting in general, and thus less game fixing or whatever. But we know, by some accounts, Nevada, where it's legal, is less than 1% of the overall sports betting. So we know that it's going on not only elsewhere, but so much bigger elsewhere. So if you're not going to stop it, if sports betting is going to happen anyway, then the more regulation you have, the more officials are watching things, and the more deterrence there is that someone's going to do something corrupt, because if officials are watching, it's a better chance the officials are going to catch that illegality, that corruption.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, Pat, use the example of the stock market. Pre-1929, before the Great Depression, there was very little regulation, and the amount of corruption on the stock market was through the roof. After during the Great Depression, they started the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and though there's still shenanigans going on, it's so much less than it used to be, and so many more, a higher percentage get caught. The more people get caught, the greater the deterrence, the less there is. And I think that is so important to realize that legalized betting will actually decrease game fixing and game corruption.
I don't think people understand that Vegas actually works with the NFL when they set lines and stuff.
Yep.
I mean, there's flags all over the place, right? Or especially college basketball. I mean, if you see somebody betting if you see somebody betting on some nobody game, I'm sure it's something to them.
Yeah. And
the flag goes up, right?
Absolutely. It's whenever you see unusual betting patterns. And, imagine you own a taco stand, and on a typical day you get 100 customers, right? Well, lo and behold, if you get 600 customers on a given day, you're going to look around and say, hey, what's going on? Is there a concert around the corner? What's going on? Something's unusual. Same thing with betting. A certain type of game is going to have a certain expected amount of betting action, and then when you actually dig in and see that it's 5x or more, then Vegas doesn't know for sure that something's wrong, but they know it deserves further study, further scrutiny. Let me tell you a great story. There's a legendary bookmaker in town, Jimmy Vaccaro.
Yeah.
Actually, the brother of Sonny Vaccaro, the big college basketball guy. And Jimmy's been in Vegas since the late 70s. In the mid-'90s, he was running the Mirage, which Steve Wynn owned at the time, one of the biggest sports books. He was running the sports book at the Mirage. A guy walked in with a leather satchel with bricks of money, $10,000 bricks. And he said, I want to bet against Arizona State in college basketball.
Right.
And Jimmy said, all right, I'll let you bet, let's say 10,000, all right?
All right.
The guy goes, all right, give me 10,000 against him, hands him one brick. He says, all right, I want to bet him against him again. Jimmy says, well, the line's got to move to 5.5. He goes, I don't care. I don't care. So he bets it like 3 times, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. Jimmy says, you know something? Why don't you get a nice free buffet? You're giving us so much action. I'm going to give you a free buffet. But by the way, I need to see your license to make sure, give you the free buffet. Guy gives him his driver's license. Jimmy gets the name, reports it to the authorities, and that was one of the drivers of catching the Arizona State betting scandal
I remember,
in the 90s.
Wow.
I didn't hear that story.
Yeah.
We got to go. It's pregame.com. And by the way, it's an aggregate of what everybody thinks in Vegas. It's honest. It's transparent. It's there. Anyway, you're in the mafia, RJ?
Since we talked a few months ago, Pat, I've stayed away from that
Okay,
kind
good
of
for you.
trouble.
Damn, still
I'm
not
proud
a
of you.
made man.
Listen,
Because we want some free buffet tickets.
I'm
RJ.
coming out there shortly, and you'll be the first person I call, and we'll have dinner, okay?
I can help you with a free dinner, but not the mafia.
I understand.
Damn
we know
it.
that. You
Damn
know
it.
that.
right.
By the way, folks, that was a joke, and we play it every time he's on. RJ Bell, thanks so much, bro.
Thanks, guys.
There
Bye-bye.
he is. There he is. And he's an honest guy.
Yeah,
and
he's a great
fun,
guy.
And,
Yeah.
and his website, I use it. I don't gamble, but thank God. But I use it as just a guide.
I like looking at the different stuff. I was looking at the crazy, like the World Series odds that were going on, and Cubs being 3-1, and some of the other things that were on there. It's pretty crazy.
he's got
Pretty crazy.
Hillary Clinton as the next president, minus 300.
Yeah.
Trump is at plus 270.
Yeah.
That means it's about 25% chance.
No. But it's getting. I'll tell you, it's getting
Your
better.
guy, Gary Johnson, is only a 0.4% chance. I love Rick
Romney's not even in it, but they still got him up there.
and Tim Kaine. But anyway, it's pregame.com, and it's an honest website. And
He's
you
a good
really,
guy.
by the way, even if you don't gamble, right? We don't.
I don't gamble. I don't.
We're addicted to enough things. Well, not anymore.
The Jewel. I'm still addicted to the Jewel.
Yeah, there's a story about that. We'll get to that when we come back. I'm Pat O'Brien, Court McCowan, and we'll be back in for segment 4.
Oh, shut it.